Hey guys, I am outside of Eagles Canyon Raceway with the all-new Toyota Sequoia. Let's get into it. This is a part of HQC 2022 where Toyota is showing all their new vehicles for the upcoming year. And what we have is the huge body on frame on an all-new platform. This shares the new platform, of course, with the Tundra. This is the all-new Sequoia. The F platform, it also shares the same platform as the Land Cruiser 300. And you can tell by the size of this thing, this is kind of a reason why we don't have that Land Cruiser here stateside anymore, because this vehicle fits the bill. And in fact, you can't even get the Land Cruiser in other parts of the world with this iForce Max powertrain. This is twin turbo V6 hybrid, 437 horsepower, 483 pound-feet of torque, or thereabouts. I may be off a metric or so, but it's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. We have a huge Sequoia lettering at the bottom of the tailgate. I'm gonna open it real quick. Some of you are curious about the space in this vehicle, and I'll overlay a video of me messing with this adjustable tray. You can also move the seats forward and back 6 inches. They say this is rated for around 200 pounds. I don't know if I would put 200 pounds on there, but you know, maybe 50 to 70. You also have a plug-in 100 watt or 400 to 100 watt out here, so you can plug in some heavy duty things, fairly heavy duty, maybe light camping. All right, maybe not heavy duty at all, some light camping stuff there. You can fold down the seats with these electronic buttons here. And keep in mind that this is the base grade. This is the SR5. There's SR5, there's Limited, there's Platinum, there's the Capstone, and the TRD Pro. This one is going to be one of the cheaper models, the SR5 TRD Sport. It's also one of the best looking models. The only thing from the side that throws me off is a little bit of chrome, but there's got to be someone out there that likes a chrome. And at the very bottom, that little air dam down there, it definitely is hanging off. I wouldn't be surprised if someone makes something in the aftermarket to tidy that up, but that's there for the miles per gallon. On the way out, I got 21.3 miles per gallon over about 30 miles on the highway. Mixed driving as well. There are instances I was going nearly 90 miles an hour. I think I'm done with the walk around. It's probably time to go ahead and get on the inside. Starting with the door panel here, we have Toyota printed on the side, but that is hard touch plastic. Luckily, we do have some soft touch at the top where you can rest your arm. Soft touch here on the additional armrest, window controls. Steering wheel looks like it's taken straight out of the Tundra, and just about everything feels like it's taken out of the new Tundra, and that's not a bad thing. We're going to step inside, use the little step side there. You also have a handle to pull yourself in. Fairly durable headliner here. We don't have a panel roof on this model, but we have a sunroof, so that is good to see. 14-inch touchscreen is available on the SR5. It is not standard. I believe it's standard on the Platinum grade and above. I'll put it exactly, but the 14-inch screen is still available here on this SR5. And what's crazy, even though this is a base model, it's the cheapest model, around 60K, still have heated seats. Got the nice screen. I don't have that JBL audio. I had to double check there. We have a heated steering wheel. You also have that AC volt to power the things in the back. So a lot of features there. We have the 12-inch MID, which is standard here, right? Because it's the iForce Max model, just like it is in the iForce Max Tundra that gets this 12-inch MID here. Since it's a TRD Sport, we get a little extra touch here, TRD on the shift knob. Everything feels pretty good here. Pressing the camera button, even though the base grade, we have 360 camera. We also have parking sensors on the front and rear. We have blind spot monitor standard with Safety Sense 2.5. This thing has a great standard features, and the SR5 TRD Sport, this one right here, is my favorite of them all. Real nice Y pattern, kind of chevron repeating. We saw that on the Tundra initially. Soft touch dash, kind of a basic plastic trim here. That doesn't bother me either. Hard touch here on the top, and just like the Tundra, we have this little hidden tray up here for additional plug-in, you know, accessory. Digital rear view mirror. This kind of surprised me on this base SR grade, but SR5 grade. But if you look, you can't really see anything out of that back window, so it's almost a necessity to have this digital rear view mirror. We have this huge console, just like we do in the Tundra. USB-C, USB-A here. A good amount of space, and I think it's time to go ahead and get in that back seat. And we also have a back seat with a third row. Doors feel very heavy, very solid in this truck. Just want to remind you guys, we do have tri-zone climate control, even it's a base model. USB-A, USB-C, here's that additional plug-in here, up to 400 watts. Very impressive. Not only do you have vents down here, but it's almost like a minivan. We have vents up here at the top as well. So I love that feature. Map light there, a handle up top. Tons of legroom. So the seat's kind of set up for me at 6'1", so legroom's not going to be an issue unless you're an NBA player. Fold down the armrest here, and we have some nice detailed cup holders. Mat pockets on each seat, but a lot of you are probably wondering, what about that third row? And just like the Lexus LX, it's based off the same platform. Seats flip up, out of the way, and wish me luck because I haven't been in this back seat yet. I think I'm gonna close it. And there we go. So we're gonna close this seat, or fold this seat down, fold it up. And you know what? I had very low expectations coming in, and yes, this seat could probably recline a little bit, but I'm very happy here at 6'1" in this back seat. Headroom's a bit dodgy, so it's not going to be the best for tall people, but if I take off my hat, it's a little bit more comfortable. I also have vents up here on the ceiling, so it's great to have that ventilation back here. We have some additional USB-Cs in the back for the passengers, love that. And you also have power reclining seats back here. So real cool, if you wanted to take a nap in the back, you could. And you could also fold this seat down and you could have, or fold this up and you can have a ton more leg room if you wanted to take a nap or something like that. Cup holders back here, and this is pre-production, so things might fall off. This is probably, you know, something to do with the seatbelt. Here's the USB-C charger on this end. It's not inside here like it is on that side, but it's good to have it back here regardless. So this seat also moves forward and back. So I'm gonna move this all the way up to that 6 inches. And this is where I'm still able to fit, but I'm literally like Houdini right now. So I'm gonna put this slide this all the way back and have ton more leg space. So it's actually a little bit more flexible than I was expecting, but I didn't have that high of standards, to be honest, or high expectations. That's the key, right? The seat back here feels really high quality leather material or a synthetic leather, and looks really, really good even for the third row. But I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna start driving this car. All right, we're driving the all new Toyota Sequoia TRD Sport in the SR5 grade. Like I mentioned earlier, this is one of the cheaper end, but one of the best routes to go. And I am joined today by David from That Guy in Blue. Did I say that right?
Dude in Blue.
The Dude in Blue.
How
God,
could you? I'm so offended.
You should be. You should kick me out of the car.
No,
right now.
I know. Okay, it's all good, man. It's all good.
So if you guys don't know his channel, we do very different things in the automotive segment. I typically cover new cars. He does the tuner end. So it's kind of like peanut butter and jelly right now. Yeah. Except, you know, I'm a little bit runny on the peanut butter end. I can't get your name right.
Well, no, well, I mean, for context, the reason, like, we're just hanging out together because Toyota brought me out to primarily film the GR stuff. Yes. But it's not our turn yet.
It's not our turn.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just vibe out and hang out in the Sequoia.
That's right.
So here we are. And I mean, first impressions are pretty good. I mean, it's
so far.
It's just big.
Yeah.
It's real. I mean, the Sequoia's always been big. We've always known that. But I think from my point of view, the fact that it's the same engine in every trim, that's probably the biggest highlight.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's do a little acceleration pull here. I don't have my like drag meter up.
Just nail it.
But you know, we're just doing a little stop and we're just gonna hammer down. Instant torque from that electric motor. I mean, you heard the can rolling around.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good too. Oh.
Yeah. And it's hard to make a V6 sound really good, right? And
it doesn't sound as throaty actually as the Tundra. And from what I heard, what people are telling me is that the Tundra engine noise is actually pumped through the speakers. It's artificial.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised, but it still sounds good.
Yeah.
Fool me. It's the same thing with like leather seats. A good synthetic leather, I don't care as long as it's comfortable and looks good. I'm
not a huge, big like guy. It has to be real leather. Right. It has to be this. Because honestly, at the end of the day, if something lasts longer and it looks similar and it's comfortable, fine. Like, as long as it's good to the touch and it doesn't feel cheap, fine. That works for me. Totally on page there. This interior, and even the driving experience of this feels Tundra through and through. And you know, they're built in the same factory. Pretty much the same chassis. It's the same body on frame, the same F platform. It's going to have a different wheelbase because this doesn't have a bed on it. But like, it feels like the ride is the same. The quietness is the same. The screen, everything in here, everything is ported over from the truck. And that's a good thing in terms of cost.
should keep the price down on this vehicle.
Like you said, it's very similar to the Tundra, and I don't mean that in a negative way either. A lot of the times I critique car companies for reusing platforms too often, but I don't think that's one of the cases. I mean, this is a no-brainer. If I was an engineer, which I'm not, if I was an engineer at Toyota, I'd be like, why wouldn't we use the Tundra to save cost? We know it's a good chassis. They developed it for, what, 2-something years in Japan. Yeah. They said, okay, we're good. We can use this for a lot. Let's just go ahead. And, you know, if you've been in previous Tundras and also Sequoias, you're going to get that Toyota feel. As soon as you get, especially the 2 posts on the steering wheel, you know, those big thick posts they always do at the bottom. The digital dash is nice, big giant screen. I mean, that's kind of like a given nowadays. Most people are just going for the big iPad,
the big screens.
You know, I know it's not an iPad, but it's an iPad.
Twist it this way.
A tablet. But no, I mean, it seems great. It seems really good. It's very much not like how Lexus used to have that touchpad.
Thank God.
They finally got rid of.
Toyota never was.
No, they never did that.
They never did it.
But for some reason, when I think of both companies or both brands, it just pops in my head. You know, that touchpad was there for so long.
It was so bad that it almost ruined the Toyota's image too, because there's the same technology. The software is the same. You're just interacting with your finger rather than the touchpad.
Which is, for a human, just more natural. It's more natural. We're so used to touchscreens now.
All the time.
That for a user interface, the #1 thing it needs to be is user-friendly. And if it's not, it's a pain.
There should be 0 learning curve.
No, it should be, that's how I connect my phone. That's how I do this. Exactly. It shouldn't be 3 menus to connect your phone. It shouldn't be 10 menus to get to nav or whatever. Even if you don't use the nav.
We both drove the GTI recently, right? Have you driven the new Volkswagen?
I have driven the new GTI, just not on camera. But you're right. The 2 screens can be a little deceiving. And it's a little weird.
It's not my cup of tea. But this is great. It interacts well. Like, I have all my physical buttons that I need. I still have a huge ass volume knob. Long live the volume knob.
I know. Or I love AC knobs too.
AC knobs are great. Unfortunately, we don't have that, but we do have fan control.
Yeah, as long as it's a button control. That,
you know, like, it's good.
It's so funny because you think, oh, screen control's cool until you actually have it in practice. Like, I have this aftermarket screen in one of my Mustangs, right? Because I wanted to kind of modernize it. Yeah. And it ended up being a huge pain in the butt. You know, just trying to get to AC, trying to get controls.
Do you think it's because we're getting old? And that the younger kids, since all they know is touchscreen interfaces?
That's a great question, but
I don't know how old you are, by the way.
So this is I'm 31.
I'm 33.
So like this,
close enough.
This is a really weird comparison, but I promise it all circles back.
Let's do it.
Let's say I drove the Explorer ST version of the Police Interceptor, like the actual cop car. Yeah. And the main difference was that the shifter wasn't here, it was a column shifter, because so many cops were used to the muscle memory of going to the column. Yeah. And just like with knobs, I think it's a similar story when it comes to volume and AC. We're used to just going crank.
Boom, not looking.
Done. Not even looking at it. And so when you have to like maybe reach for the screen, I know that sounds like something little, but if you're on a road trip and you're tired, you just want to hit AC max and hit the button. Yeah. But I think this is just fine. That's just fine.
The interface here is great. Steering wheel is great. Comfort here is great, just like it is in the Tundra. Quiet in here is pretty good. It's pre-production. We noticed some air leaks here and there in this vehicle because we actually drove this out here.
It's still like 6 months out plus, so we don't.
We're early pre-production, and I'm not worried about any of those things.
Most people would not care that much.
Most people are not listening for that, and even if they are, they probably won't notice because
the only main difference I think when it comes to the quiet factor is what the top trim, right? Because they changed the windshield material, they got
acoustic glass on the front window, so that is definitely going to be a quieter experience than the capstone model you're referring to. And you know, the capstone the looks don't do it for me. And I'm not gonna do a walk around or anything of the capstone while I'm here, because to me, this is probably one of the volume sellers, SR5 grade as well as a limited. Those two are probably going to account for like at least 60, that's just me guessing, because Toyota hasn't told us, but probably about like at least 50 to 60% of all Sequoias being sold is the two bottom grades, because they can have the SR5, so they can have the TRD Sport and the SR5, but you can also get the TRD Off-Road in this grade as well as the Limited. And it's like, I don't really need to spend an additional 10 grand or so to get that either Capstone or that TRD Pro model.
The more bougie model,
like, if you're gonna be, if you just want something that looks like more badass and everything, I guess the TRD Pro will do it. But for me, I can get this awesome Lunar Rock, save 10 grand. I can still get this in a 4x4 if I want, or with the electronic lock-in rear.
Yep.
So I have all those options on the base grade, and Toyota's pretty much done it right. They've created all these tiers for buyers' satisfaction, but for the average person, this thing has so much features. I mentioned the heated seat.
People be so happy with this
We have
car.
a sunroof. We have the option of having this big screen. We have a digital rearview mirror. We have 360 camera. Like, these things are usually seen, well, maybe not heated seats, but like everything else I mentioned is typically seen on like higher tiers. And we're getting on the base grade here.
BMW, Audi with the 360 cam, stuff like that. And I think we should briefly mention the rear view mirror camera, because if you turn that off, you cannot see out of this truck.
You can't see very well.
It's an absolute necessary thing for the average person.
Which I don't know if it's standard, but if you guys are watching this, try to get this feature, because it's going to be difficult to see behind you. 3 rows,
that's what you get. Yeah,
you get a lot of headrests.
Yeah, lots of headrests.
And since this vehicle is a lot more aerodynamic than the last one, the greenhouses, the windows are much smaller. So looking out the back isn't the same. Looking out the front, I noticed that too. The front's very squished. I know it's hard to tell on the GoPro, but it is very squished in comparison. Yeah,
the front windshield is smaller than I expected.
Yeah,
because it has that kind of very narrow, not tunnel vision's not fair. It's not that bad.
It's like a visor.
Yeah, it's not quite Camaro bad, where it's like, geez, I can't see. This is fine for most people.
Oh, no, I still feel like I have a really good presence and view of the road. It's almost like a
panoramic view almost.
It does.
From
it feels like a wide, like an ultra-wide monitor.
Yep, that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. I got it in the brakes earlier. They felt, you can feel the heft of this vehicle, especially the hybrid. It's not going to stop that quick by any means, and most people shouldn't expect it to perform like a sports car in that manner. In terms of ride quality though, it's very comfortable. It's a little bit floaty, but I don't mind it. Like, I could easily take this across the country.
Oh, like,
I wouldn't
you wouldn't blink an eye. It's fine. It's comfortable. Not to mention it fits, what, 8 people, they said? I think all in all.
Yeah, it's an 8-seater. I think it's when you get to the platinum grade, that's when it turns into captain's chairs and you lose that middle seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, either way, it fits a lot of people. Because it's a good road trip vehicle. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. And then like you have those plug-ins, like 400 watts, so you could camp in it, and it tows 9,500 pounds. You have to be I don't know who'd be towing that in this vehicle, but it has to be the SR5 grade rear wheel drive. It's not the 4x4 that tows
right, which most people are going to probably want.
I wonder what the split is going to be.
I'm really curious as well.
80-20, 4x4 to non 4x4.
Yeah, I mean, when they said 9,500 pounds, I was like, okay, that's pretty rad. That's pretty cool.
2-wheel drive though.
Yeah, 2-wheel drive though, and then I was like, dang, but.
It's not going to drop off that much.
No.
Let's say it drops off 500 pounds.
Yeah, it's not going to be catastrophic. No. But should you talk about the shelves in the back? I was really actually intrigued by the shelves during the presentation. I was like, I know it sounds super lame for people listening, but it's one of those things where if you have a vehicle like this, you want it to be useful. And when you pop the back of it, you have these options to move around this shelf or shelves, whatever you want to call it. And I actually expected the shelf space to be a little bit bigger. But
it's adjustable because the seats move.
Right, but it's still a neat feature. It's still cool that you could stack things on top of each other.
That's the thing, because everyone compares cargo space and vehicles, but when you have like a hatch like this, you have to keep in mind a lot of that cargo space is almost unusable because it's a vertical cargo space. So you just have to be stacking crap on top of each other. This shelf makes it a lot easier to use that cargo space to a better, like, its full capacity, essentially.
Right, and they claim that the shelf holds like 220 pounds.
220. I don't want you to sit on it and try. And I know you probably weigh, like, what do you weigh, like 170?
I'm actually like 140,
140.
soaking wet. Yeah,
okay.
So it's, yeah, I don't think it would. I don't know. You know what? It's probably got some crazy material. It's probably got some crazy material internally we don't know about. But it's I mean, during the footage, there were some heavy groceries on there, but you know,
I don't think it would pass the dairy test. Is what we
the dairy. Yeah, that's right. Like, would eggs be safe? Would milk be safe?
You put the crunchy stuff up top. Yeah. So if it falls, it's not the end of the world. Yeah.
2008.
Is that what it was?
They said.
I guess that's roughly when the last Tundra came out, right?
Yeah. So the first generation Sequoia was roughly around 2000. So that's how far we've come. Yeah. Because that was the V8 model and all that stuff. And then they moved on. But yeah, it needed a refresh. And Toyota knew they needed a refresh.
Right.
And it's good that it's a 100% new car. Yeah. Right? Rather than, oh yeah, let's just take the last one.
Dude,
that's,
it feels not, other than being a huge SUV, it feels nothing like the old one with the V8.
No.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to miss the V8, but you're not going to miss 14 to 15 miles per gallon.
That's a cool clock tower. Sorry.
That was. It was. I don't know what that was either. But,
but no,
really cool.
I don't think they're going to miss that. I think the 3.5, 99.9% of people are going to be happy with it. And the 10-speed auto, that as well.
10-speed.
10-speed is like the new thing. You know, Ford and GM had the 10-speed
Everyone's got a 10-speeder now.
I mean, I remember the first time I heard 10-speed, you're like, say that out loud one more time. Like,
it's wild.
No way. But
6-speed was the standard.
Yeah, see, Raptor just went by. Yeah, has 10-speed in it. Right. But yeah, the 10-speed, it feels good, doesn't shift roughed. Nice. Rough.
Yeah.
It does the job.
Does the job.
It's fine.
It's going to be sturdy. This vehicle, a lot of people are worried about turbos and whatnot. And
500-something foot-pounds of torque.
I get it.
It's crazy.
The fuel you get so much more fuel economy in this. You get so much more power and torque than the V8. I never feel like I have to rev this thing out like the V8. And now, the V8 still has good torque, and I never really needed to rev out the V8. I just wanted to listen to it scream.
Yeah.
This is just a beast. But the cool thing is about this vehicle is that even like sometimes in stop and go traffic, the engine turns off and you don't know it.
You don't know it at all. Like, it doesn't have that jarring.
No, it doesn't. You don't know when it's on. It just turned off, and I have to look at my miles per gallon meter to know if it's off.
Definitely.
So it's pretty wild. And it's unlike other Toyotas that have like a little EV light that tells you if it's in EV mode. You don't get that here in this because they're like, this is more of a power-focused powertrain. It's not. This is a really cool.
This is a cool little town. Oh, we should have done Glamour's here.
A Fuzzy's Taco Shop.
I bet that place is fire.
That's a chain. No, it's a chain.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we had one in Omaha. It wasn't that good. We had one in Naples, and it closed
over here
down.
Like, maybe that's good.
They have really cheap drinks though. But on these trips, why pay for your drinks when Toyota does it?
I have to say, this is a little, probably not that important to a lot of people, but they have a really good color selection. There's some really cool colors.
Yeah.
Like, it's so nice when people don't unveil cars in freaking silver or whatever. It's just, I'm so tired of silver. Like, everything's in silver.
Toyota's got a big backlog of cool, like, TRD colors. That,
like, this one in particular, I think it's my favorite color.
Luna Rock's just amazing.
Yeah, we sprinted for it. Like, it was,
and there's only like one or two of them that I saw.
It's kind of like, it's very similar to Area 51 on the Ford Bronco. It's that cool bluish gray turquoise. It's a weird color. You can't describe it until you see it in person. But it just shakes it up instead of everything being that Nardo gray. I'm so tired of that too. It's just nice that car companies are finally adding a little bit more colors to their lineup rather than silver, black, and gray.
I mean, this thing, like, I wouldn't get it in the blueprint color or the dark blue. Dark blue's not my favorite. It gets so dirty. Same thing with black.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
White's white, whatever. But like, I love the army green. The solar octane.
The army green's cool.
Super cool. I don't know if I could live with orange on a day-to-day basis, but I probably could.
Yeah,
I probably could.
You probably get over it, you know. But it's one of those things where at least you have a neat color, and it's not just like, okay, I'm just going back in my daily commuter thing.
It's just so crazy. Like, I'm going 45 and I'm still in electric mode.
Oh, really? So we're in full EV right now.
Yeah, when you're coasting downhill, it really likes to just turn off and let the electric motor just take over.
Okay, so
I'm gonna see how far I can do it.
This is probably the most seamless transition, excuse me, I felt in a hybrid in a while.
It's good.
It's real good.
You don't notice it.
Because usually there's a light going, we're in electric now.
Exactly.
Usually there's a beep or whatever, but this is just like, you're just driving.
I'm at 47, so I mean, I'm still kind of going downhill here. And once we get to the uphill portion, that will all change.
But yeah, I'm really curious to see what it does.
You know, it's really maximizing my MPGs here. I'm at like 20 right now, average since we started. And I floored into it when we first got going. So it's just gobbling up those MPGs right now. But
let's see what happens when you go uphill if it turns the motor on.
I haven't adjusted my foot on the pedal. I'm going 51. Going downhill or uphill now.
Yeah, this feels like you're in a full EV. It's
I'm
very
still
strange.
in EV mode, even though I'm losing speed. There's no one behind me, so we're not.
So
like, we're not.
This is an R&D session. You're welcome, Toyota.
I'm hypermiling. I'm hypermiling the Sequoia. I'm still in EV mode.
How many cycles? How many cycles have we done?
Well, and there's a little battery gauge on here as well.
Does it have regenerative braking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Figured.
So the engine charges it, but so do the brakes. So we were able to make it up that hill, maintaining about 30. And now I'm going back downhill, so I'm picking up speed again. So that's kind of cool. I mean, extreme test.
This is a nice little road.
It is.
Is there like a mile/hour limit of EV? Do you think?
I bet there is. I don't know what it is though. You want me to punch it and I don't know No,
just ease into it and go to the speed limit. See if it does.
You know this? Oh, we're getting on the freeway. We're getting on the freeway.
55. Up. I think the motor just kicked on. Yeah.
Once you give it any gas, it really. Shit. We're gonna have to get behind this guy.
That's all good. We'll get back.
But even for a second there, when I got into the gas and then got off to adjust my speed, it went into EV mode for a brief second. So it's really smart on how it does it. It's always thinking about saving fuel when it doesn't need
75 mile/hour speed limits.
Yeah, like
I'm about Texas.
60 miles an hour, I'm coasting behind this guy and it's back in EV mode. So it's pretty cool.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
It kicked back off, right? Or kicked back on, the engine did. So it's, I think if you really wanted to be a jerk and keep people behind you and hold up traffic, you could probably get like 23 to 25 miles per gallon.
Is there a reset button? Maybe you could do like a reset and see how it does just cruising on the highway. Okay.
Well, earlier I got 21. And that was like, pretty good because we were going.
All right, let's see.
75 and.
Now we're going uphill, so it's going to hurt it.
It'll go back down, but
31 for a second.
31 for a sec.
Yeah.
Totally not sustainable.
No way.
But around 60 miles per hour sustained, it might be able to get around 25 to 30.
I think it's safe to say 25 to 30 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's able to just do this at 60 and it's doing 30, 32, 33 going up and downhill.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Am I drafting behind this semi?
You sure are.
Maybe. But yeah, that's extreme measures. For most people, you're going to see probably 20 miles per gallon.
Especially if you're going the actual speed
combined.
limit. Yeah.
Even in town, I wouldn't be surprised if you see worse than 20. And if you have a lead foot, less than 20 is probably a guarantee.
That's just when weight and physics come in.
Right. Shoot, well, I think we've said just about everything about this vehicle. It looks good. The interior's good enough. I'm comfortable. We have all the amenities and technology, even on this SR5. I don't need the panel roof or ventilated seats.
Nah, it's fine.
The third row had good amount of space. We had climate control for the second row, so I was happy with that. So overall, this base grade SR5 TRD Sport not only looks arguably the best out on the lineup, but it's also one of the lowest priced and really well equipped. So signing out. You want to say anything?
No, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. The vehicle is and I mean this in a very good way. You kind of know what you're gonna get. It's very much a better Sequoia. It does everything better than the last car, and I think that's what you should ask for. If you're an average consumer of Toyota, you'll be happy with it.
It definitely looks better than the last Sequoia.
It looks way better too. Yeah, no, this it is a good looking car. Or, sorry, I say car, but truck, SUV.
I'm the same way.
I think it's a good looking vehicle.
Yeah.
Especially with this color, especially just get rid of that chrome trim on the rear window. That's it. Everything else is
for the most part, yeah. and I'm sure you can find something aftermarket.
Oh
to,
yeah,
like,
it'll be fine.
So
but either way, yeah, it's a safe buy. I think if you really just need something that checks your boxes to get you around. Oh,
there you go.
Del Sol.
Del Slow.
Let's go.
The Del Slow.
My friend, I had a friend who had one of those that got stolen while I was in Detroit.
Oh god.
Yeah. Side note. Anyway, yes, safe buy.
Safe buy. Really good truck. And signing out outside of Plano, Texas. I really don't know where we are right now.
We're in the middle of nowhere, Texas now.
Yeah, which is most of Texas. But anyways, signing out from the new Sequoia.
Yeah, that's right.
That's David. I'm Kirk. First ever, I think, ride along I've ever done on the channel.
Oh, bet. So, awesome. Honored.
Honored to have you on.
Thanks, man.
And we'll probably see each other in the future at more events.
That's right. I'll have to get you in some fast cars.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, peace out.
Later.